In almost every top team, there's the best player, the hard worker, the floor raiser, the consistent performer, the utility player, and then the player with the clutch gene. Of course, all these players play unique roles and are all very important, but when it comes to the business end of the season, fans really start to appreciate the clutch players a lot because they win games, grab the headlines, and get the team over the line in difficult games. Well, we're here to celebrate those players in this video today. This is a list of your favourite club's most clutch players this season. Let's start with Manchester City. The likes of Haaland, Cherki, Rodri and Semenyo have been very solid for them this season, but their most clutch player has obviously been Nico O'Reilly. In the biggest games, it's always been him stepping up to make the difference with goals. Despite having played in the defence for most of the season, the 21-year-old has often made his way into the opposition box to score some really big goals at the right time. He scored the equaliser against Real Madrid in the league phase game at the Bernabeu, which started the comeback in that game. He scored all Man City's goals against Newcastle, which secured the win and kept them in the title race. He also scored all the goals in the EFL Cup Final against Arsenal, which won City their first trophy of the season. And of course, in a game against Chelsea which looked like it was going to be tight, he scored the goal which started the party. Going into the business end of the season, this kind of player could make all the difference. He is one of the reasons City fans are confident that they can actually win the league this season. To be honest, right now there aren't many players who are as clutch as he is. But Real Madrid surely have a player who can rival him in the person of Federico Valverde. We've always known him to have a wicked shot on him, but this season he has taken his goal scoring to a whole different level. He's now scoring more frequently, with most of them coming at important moments and in important games. Of course, the most memorable game he had this season was the one against Manchester City, where his hat-trick pretty much settled the entire tie in the first leg. It doesn't really get much more clutch than that, does it? But his entire season hasn't been just about that one game. If you remember, Valverde scored a 95th minute winner against Celta Vigo when it looked for all the world like Real Madrid were going to drop points that day. He also scored a very important go-ahead goal in the Madrid derby, as well as the opener in the game against Girona. And don't forget his free-kick rocket against Atletico in the Supercopa, which set Madrid on the path to victory. And if he's not scoring the clutch goals himself, he's setting them up. He assisted the winner in the home game against Mallorca and set up both goals in the second leg against Benfica in the playoff rounds. Real Madrid have not been at their vintage best this season, but Valverde being so clutch has saved them on so many occasions. And you can say the same about Dominik Szoboszlai. Liverpool have had a shocking season, but it surely could have been a lot worse if Szoboszlai hadn't been so clutch. You could say that he's been both Liverpool's best and most clutch player in this campaign. His 83rd minute wonder free kick against Arsenal at the very beginning of the season was enough to win that very tough game for Liverpool. His 88th minute penalty won Liverpool a keenly contested Champions League game against Inter Milan. His 92nd and 61st minute assists won them the Champions League phase games against Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid respectively. And you know, when he scored that 74th minute free kick against Manchester City, we all thought that it was going to be another clutch winner, but the citizens decided to flip the script. Szoboszlai has often been the difference maker for Liverpool this season. If they're going to do anything of note in a big game, Szoboszlai would almost certainly have to be involved in one way or another. And this is really impressive when you remember that he's played more than a handful of games as a right back. Meanwhile, PSG's most clutch player this season has been Kvicha Kvaratskhelia. The Georgian has saved the best version of himself for the most important part of the season, and in these crucial moments, he started to deliver regularly for his team. The former Napoli man was directly involved in 4 goals against Chelsea, and he scored a very important and very beautiful goal against Liverpool in the knockout rounds of the Champions League. And don't forget, he also scored the goal which ensured that PSG didn't lose to Monaco in the playoff rounds of the Champions League. Of course, PSG have a lot of quality forwards, any of whom can win you a game on their day. But this season, it is Kvara who appears to have been doing that most often. As for Bayern Munich, that guy has been Luis Diaz. When things get tough, you can almost always bank on the Colombian to come through for the German Giants. And he started to do this right from the beginning of the season. In the German Super Cup, his 77th minute goal turned out to be the winner in that game against Stuttgart. Since then, he's continued to be clutch. He assisted the winning goal against PSV, scored the equalizer against Leverkusen, scored the opener in a tough game against Real Madrid, scored both goals in the game against PSG, and scored the settler against Leipzig in the quarterfinals of the DFB Pokal. Harry Kane might be the team's top scorer, Michael Olise might be the chief creator, but in a big game and a crucial moment when you need a clutch player, Luis Diaz is often the man that shows up for Bayern Munich. For Man United, it is definitely Benjamin Šeško who has been their most clutch player. And it's interesting because he had a slow start to the season after signing in the summer. But after Ruben Amorim got sacked, everything changed. He became that guy. He scored a 94th minute winner against Fulham, a 96th minute equalizer against West Ham, a 71st minute winner against Everton, a 65th minute winner against Crystal Palace. And what's crazy is that most of these goals came from off the bench, earning him the reputation of a super sub. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes has been United's best player this season, there can be no arguments about that, but no Red Devil has come up with more clutch goals than Šeško this season. Almost all the goals the Slovenian has scored for Man United have been clutch. Let's now cross over to Atletico Madrid. Their most clutch player can be none other than Julian Alvarez. In the smaller games, he might look ordinary, but in the big games he often comes to life. He inspired his team to Champions League victories against Barcelona, Inter Milan and PSV with his openers, scored the equaliser and go-ahead goal in the game against Real Madrid, and scored the goal which ended up being the winner over the two legs in the Copa del Rey semi-final against Barcelona. For real, where would Atletico Madrid have been this season if not for Julian Alvarez? And what's more is that his clutch gene could still help them secure a piece of silverware this season. Another striker who has been the most clutch player for his team is Victor Gyökeres. A lot's been said about him this season, but just take a look at his CV so far this season. 2 settlers against Atletico Madrid, an 84th minute settler against Inter Milan, 89th minute opener from off the bench against Everton, go-ahead goal in the North London derby, go-ahead goal and winning assist in the EFL Cup against Chelsea. And if you add what he also did for Sweden, dragging them to World Cup qualification with an 88th minute winner in the playoff final against Poland, you would see that the Arsenal man has been one of the most clutch centre forwards in the world this season. Still in London with Chelsea, their most clutch player this season has to be João Pedro. He has been the striker Chelsea needed this season, coming up with important goals every now and again. He scored the winner in the derby against Spurs, 66th minute equaliser against Newcastle, 82nd minute winner in the Champions League against Napoli, scored the 125th minute settler against Wrexham in the round of 16 of the FA Cup, and assisted the 92nd minute winner in the derby against West Ham. Chelsea have not had the best season, but their Brazilian striker has really pulled them out of some really ugly situations by being super clutch. We'll now wrap up with Barcelona. There, everything goes through him. He's also been coming up with clutch moments for the Blaugranas this season. He scored the 68th minute winner against Athletic Club, the 87th minute settler against Espanyol, the 63rd minute settler against Villarreal, assisted the winner against Real Sociedad, forced the 91st minute own goal winner against Levante, assisted the winner against Eintracht Frankfurt, and of course scored the 96th minute equaliser from the penalty spot in the away game against Newcastle. The teenager has easily been one of the best and most entertaining players in the world, and on top of that, he has been very clutch. Put together, those attributes make him totally indispensable. Barcelona would be in a totally different place this season without him. Anyway, it's now time to hear from you guys. Do you agree with these players that we've selected? What would you change? What club do you support, and who would you say has been your most clutch player this season? Tell us in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notification so that you never miss out on new content. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.